fantastic weekend in Troy. You guys, started out the season with some W's and stuff. So kind of recap the tournament for me and what some strengths that you saw on the field.
Well, first, they did a great job hosting us. It's really cool to go down there. And the Friday night game, there was over 1,800 people. Sunday, they had the same amount. Just really, really good fan support. So win-win for both programs. Montana Faust got to throw in her first game the Friday night, and you have all these people, and it was a great atmosphere. So I think it was good for her just to kind of feel the crowd and the anxiety a little bit. But then first thing I was really pleased with was our team defense. First time in a long time, or maybe ever, we didn't have an error on the weekend. We scored the most runs we ever have in an opening 5-game weekend. It was well pitched. We only had really one poorly pitched game, and that was the second Murray State game. But other than that, the defense was good. The base running was good. I mean, I was really happy.
We've been talking a lot about your pitching staff. You have a huge lineup of pitchers. So how did it go for them, and how did it go for the catchers too? Because we were talking about both of them last week.
Yep, we actually Reagan caught, Bailey caught, and so did Caroline. Montana got 2 starts. Crystal got 2 wins, and Sarah Cornell got her first start was against Maryland, and she threw a 2-hit shutout. So against a Big Ten team, Power 5 conference. Really pleased with her. We didn't have very many walks on the weekend. That was a negative from last year, our errors and the walks. And we turned both of those around. Hopefully it'll stay the same, the rest of the way.
Keely was phenomenal for your offense this past weekend. She really lit it up with the bat this weekend. Can you just talk about her performance a little bit, and how exciting was it for her to see her light it up?
She was awesome. She picked up right where she left off at the end of last year. She barreled up a lot of balls, and one of the coolest things I think we had 13 doubles too, and that was quite a few doubles, extra base hits on opening weekend. But the best thing about that is she's picking the right pitches, and if you swing at a not so good pitch, you're probably going to ground out to first or third. And if she's picking the pitches over the middle of the plate, she's hitting in the gap. And we had a lot of gappers from a lot of people. Obviously, Kaylee was, I think it was .692 batting average. On base percentage was over 800. So not only did she hit the ball, she also walked, I think 4 or 5 times. So very disciplined at the plate, and I love to see that.
Moving on to this weekend, what's some things that you saw this past weekend that you guys are going to work on, or some strengths?
Well, this is a step up in the competition. 4 of the 5 teams that will play were in the NCAA tournament last year. 3 of the 5 were conference champions last year. Obviously, you got to start with Arizona, one of the best teams in the history of softball. I think they've won 8 or 9 national championships. Their coach is a Hall of Famer. The really cool thing about this weekend is they're opening up a renovated $9 million stadium Thursday night, tomorrow night. So they'll play 1 game in it, and then we'll get to play, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in it. I have great respect for Mike Andrea, and one of the coolest things about him is when we go there, he comes here. And there's not very many Pac-12 teams that'll do that, but we're going there obviously this weekend, and then next year he's coming to us for a tournament. So it's a cool rivalry, very respectful. New Mexico, Cal State Fullerton, South Florida, and Illinois Chicago. And very, very good programs, both in the NCAA tournament. So we'll have our hands full.
Last time we talked, you talked about how many fans were coming this past weekend. Just to have the fans there and feed off their excitement to you as a coach, what did that mean?
Oh, even in the games where we weren't playing Troy, the stadium was half full, and it was all Alabama people. So I had a lot of alums come up to me, class of 76, 84, 98, met a guy, had a son with them, and they're from down there, so they were really pleased to see an Alabama team come down to Southeast Alabama.
That's all I have.
How important is it to get full of this kind of this big road experience, a long trip out to Arizona?
I think it's good for, the first trip obviously was on a bus. It was a fairly easy 3-hour trip, but this is a little bit different. I think, for the freshmen, the newbies, it's a first kind of real road trip with us. Long flight, obviously, to Tucson. Their crowd's going to be awesome. Obviously the game that we play them, I'm sure it'll be sold out. We're close to it. It's an exciting time, to play college softball with all the press, all the coverage, And there's a lot of fans across the country that love this game.
You mentioned the upper echelon, or the quality of the opponent, I should say, going into this weekend. Would you have a chance to kind of bolster your resume early in the season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime you play a Pac-12 team, it's a bonus, win, lose. South Florida has been in regionals every year for probably 15 years. Illinois Chicago is a team not many know about, but they will win their league almost every other year. It'll just be good competition all the way around.
For your pitching staff, especially for Montana and for Crystal, just kind of go over the challenges, especially for those two, with the competition you're facing this weekend?
I mean, obviously both of them pitched at a high level. Montana obviously won the 16 and under PGF National Championship, which is the biggest tournament in the summer ball circuit. So she's used to seeing good batters. And what's cool though is, those kids that maybe she played against somebody beat her probably, are now going to be playing at Arizona, or South Florida. And now she's going to see them in college. So it's almost like a cat and mouse game where, first time through the lineup, they're going to make adjustments. So then she's got to make an adjustment. And I think in summer ball and high school, you don't see that a lot. But in college, I think you definitely do. So she's going to have to be like one step ahead of everybody, second time, third time through the lineup. A big benefit of this past weekend is she pitched against the same team twice. So she pitched the Friday night game, she took Saturday off, and then she pitched the Sunday game against Troy. And I think she might have thrown two hitters and shut them out on Sunday, gave up a run Friday night. So there wasn't any downfall in her game. She pitched just as well the second time through.
You were real high on Claire in the off-season. How do you think she did to open up the season?
She did awesome, and like I said earlier, the thing I was probably most pleased with was no errors on defense, and she probably had the most chances. She made a couple really good web gem plays, not many other kids could make, but just steady, made every routine play, and hit the ball. I think she had 2 home runs. Her slugging percentage was like 17, it was outrageous about 3 games into the tournament. So our 7-8-9 one game was 9 for 11 with 9 runs scored, and I think 10 RBIs. So couldn't ask for anything better than that. 7-8-9.
Kind of talk about that chemistry as well in the middle infield, especially with losing from last year, really the last few years, and experienced middle infield defensively. Just kind of talk about the chemistry with your shortstop and second base
even
positions.
At third base, we lost the 4-year starter in Peyton Grantham. We lost Booker, we lost Demi Turner, 4-year starter. So there was a lot of experience that was gone, and Maddie Morgan's picked up the slack. Claire has been terrific at shortstop, and Skylar Wallace at second base, but we also have Taylor Clark. And then KB Sides, you can see at second base too this year, but we turned 1 double play. Really nice double play, a 6-4-3. Claire to Skylar, and she was out by a mile too, so that was pretty cool to see.